everyone! Happy Friday! We made it. The week's been crazy. It's absolutely insane. But hey, we're here. We survived, so great to see everybody. How has your week been? Let me know in the chat and let me know where you're watching from. So right off the bat, to give you an idea of exactly how my week's gone, here we go. Here's the shirt for the day. People should seriously stop expecting normal from me. We all know it's never going to happen. That's right. That is my motive. It ain't never going to happen. And you know what? I'm kind of proud of that. In fact, that's why I chose the topic today about authenticity. Because sometimes being authentic does not mean being normal. Does not mean fitting in. Even means you don't have to be nice all the time. You got to be real. Got to be genuine. So we're going to get into that. And we're going to find out some different things about some people in our backstage. What makes them authentic, or how are they not authentic when maybe they should be? So ought to be a good time. So we'll find out. So who we got in the audience tonight? We got Ashley. Me. Ready for party. Hello, Ashley. How we doing, my dear? Good to have you with us. Let's see. Hello. How you doing? Good. Thank you. And we got Wild Angel. Says Ashley. Hi. And how's the fam? Yes. How is the fam? And Freaky Friday. And that says, not bad. See, we had a decent week minus a bad ear. Ooh, ear infections suck. I'm so sorry, Sealy. This is good, deep into spruce, and now small construction site. Hey, that sounds like my house. We've been like a construction site for, I don't know, about 3 years. Yeah, complete remodel, end to end. And so we get one little part done, and then like this wall gets left undone for out of 3 months. Like, okay, let's get some insulation drywall and let's do that part of the wall. But we have to tear down the next part of the wall to do that part of the wall. So it's like an ever-growing cycle. I feel your pain there. Okay, ton of audits, day job. Yikes, yeah. Doesn't sound like any fun, I agree. Getting ready to put a slightly raised garden bed in, yeah. Don't talk to me because I got a black thumb. I just kill things, yeah. I cannot save a plant's life if my life depended on it. Ain't gonna happen. And that says start time. Yes, it is start time. And Rosalind, how you doing, Roz? Woohoo! Party time. So great that Rosalind just made it into the show here. And because this is where set down the ground rules. Now, as you guys know, mi casa is su casa. So, you know what? I'm proud to have you here, but hey, get comfortable. Feel at home. First thing is, you always know, kick your shoes off. Leave those by the door. We don't care about those. Bar is always open. Go fix yourself a drink. Better yet, make it two. It could get crazy around here. And snacks, munchies, whatever. Well, I'm out because somebody has not resupplied my munchie stock, so I have nothing except vape. So, yeah, sorry, no munchies. Party's over. Everybody go home. Somebody screwed that up, and we'll blame it on them in a minute. I can see them now. They're making faces. But I want to give a couple shout-outs here to our sponsors. Now, we don't have any real paid sponsors, but we have unofficial sponsors that we promote because we believe in what they're doing. And the first one, and I should have had this prepped. I know, my bad. There it is. First one to shout out is Karma Farm Sanctuary. Now, that's run other by... Words, easy for me. That is run by none other than our own Mr. Alex and Kelly. That's right. The ones we all know and love, and they're the ones that inspire me every single day. See right there? Karma Farm Sanctuary sticker on my mic, so I'm always motivated. But if you haven't checked out Karma Farms, this is a great outfit. And they are a 501c3 animal farm sanctuary down in Florida. And they rescue some animals from some pretty horrific environments. So definitely go check them out. And I put a link in the description down below there. And let's see. Chat's going nuts, as always. Yeah, no munchies. Someone's fired. Exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about, Rose. And I'll bring up the munchie supplier here in a second. Yeah, we'll get on him. Certainly has a black thumb instead of green. Oh, I do. I have an absolute black thumb. I can kill a cactus. Seriously. What you do to it? I don't know, but it's dead. I watered it. Oh, that's, yeah. I do everything wrong. Karma Farm Sanctuary, amazing people helping out amazing animals. You're absolutely right, Rosalind. And for my second sponsor, guys, you might have heard of these guys. You know, they might look a little bit familiar, and that is none other than Project Duck Depression. That's right. Another amazing outfit that I highly support. And right here, check that out. I got rows of ducks to keep me on the positive every single day because they are all about giving just a little bit of sunshine. And it doesn't take a lot. Literally, a little tiny yellow duck placed in somebody's path that's having a bad day, you can't help but smile. So that is run other, there we go again. That's run by none other than our own Rose and Cyril Kier. And this is a great, very simple to interact with. Get yourself some little ducks. Go out and just spread them around. I mean, you go to a restaurant, leave a couple there on the cash register. You go to the doctor's office, leave a couple in the waiting room. Anywhere you go, I guarantee the universe is going to put those in the path of somebody that needs to find that duck. It's going to make them smile. And I'm sure we've got several people here who have run across these ducks or as part of this movement of ducks that it makes them smile by giving them. And we've seen a lot of postings of people who have smiled because they received them. So make no mistake, these are two amazing projects that I highly recommend. Go out and support. You don't have to donate. You don't have to buy anything. Just give them a little bit of love. And if you want to make other people smile, get yourself a few ducks and spread them around the world. So, yes, Project Duck Depression. Oh, duck that depression. That's right. Sorry, my bad, Rose. I got all excited. There we go. There's Cyril. Quack, quack. Yes. Look at that. People are starting to flow in. Man, backstage is filling up quick, guys. So if you haven't hit the bar, got your drinks yet, you might want to go do that because it's going to get kind of crazy around here. So if you're just tuning in, I want to say thanks for stopping in. And you know what? Let me know where you're watching from tonight because I want to find out where are you and how was your week? Was it crazy? Was it nice? Was it sunny? Was it rainy? Yeah, sure a little bit. Let's find out about what's going on in the world. So, you guys ready to get this party started? And yeah, seriously, stop expecting normal from me. It ain't gonna happen. And you know what? That's my authentic me, so I'm okay with that. So another person you can never expect normalcy from, I guarantee. How do I know? Because she married me. That's right. None other than Miss Wild Angel.
Hi, guys. And no, nothing's ever normal in our house. I
think there's laws against that, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so. I went skipping down the hall at work today.
Perfect. I love it.
Giggling my tushy off down the hall at work. And next thing I see is people looking up over the edge of their cubicles like, what the hell? I had sent, no lag tonight.
Move your mic back a little bit, Walden. There, yeah.
Is that better?
Too far. Now you're too quiet. You were breathing on it. Put it a little bit down from your mouth, like down at your chin, and then bring it close. That should help, yeah.
Okay, Cyril.
That better? Yes. Good catch, Cyril. Thank you. Sorry, keep going on your skipping story.
But just giggling my butt off, and I come around the corner, and the guy I work with, he's like, what? He's like, what? I said, I sent the label to the wrong printer. I sent it to the main printer instead of the label printer. And it is the second time I had been back there to pick it up and still managed to send it the second time to the wrong printer. So third time was the charm.
There you go. That works. And let's try moving your mic down a little bit more. Not away, just down. Because you're blowing on just a little bit. We'll see how that does.
Okay.
Yeah, got a little bit. Yeah. Wild Angel got new headgear. Actually, she got a new camera. So everything looks clear. I donated one of my cameras that I had, or my other camera. So I'm piecing apart the studio to give to the wife. Yeah, that's how much I love her. So it's like, here, you get my second best camera. I love you.
It was so nice. I can adjust angle. I can zoom in or out. I can change the color tones. It was great. I don't look like a ghost.
I donated one of my cameras to Rose. Not that you ever... okay, so you've gone through the same things. Like, okay, my hardware goes to the wife. That's it. We're done. Not that she'll ever use it. Come on, Rose. Get on up here.
Thanks, Rose.
She is. I agree. She's looking gorgeous. So let's find out who else we have hiding backstage. Now, as you guys know, I'm always getting in trouble, so I have to have somebody there to pull me out. But every once in a while, he fails his job. And he was responsible for the cookies. Yeah, the man who failed the cookie mission, none other than Mr. Crow. How you doing, Crow?
You motherfucker.
Don't even start that early.
I came in last week and I was like, walked in, I was like, good on cookies? Oh yeah, I'm great. I got Oreos, I still got some Chips Ahoy, I got these, I'm good.
That was last week. They're gone now, man.
I will say in his defense, Crow, he was sharing.
I did. I gave a lot of my cookies away to the girls. You bring me those really good little ones? Yeah, what are those called?
Milanos.
Yeah. Yeah, he brings me Milanos. And so, of course, yeah. Girls like, oh, Milanos, we want some. Okay, there went my cookies. Hi, Mom. Okay, so wow. Somebody's hiding in the dark. Okay, well, I guess I won't bring him up. And he's gone. He just left. Okay. So, Crow, you know what? I pick on you all the time, but there's one other person I love to pick on because he always has the most excellent responses and huge conversationalist, none other than Mr. Alpha Cruz. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, I'm good. I'm good.
Hi, Alpha.
Hi, but I'm good. Good
Took a
to
second,
be
I thought
here.
we lost you.
Evening. Oh no, it's this damn lag. I need to go find a better network spot, honestly. It's been a problem.
I shared my lag. It's contagious.
Apparently, you're gonna have to steal it from the other coffee shop because this coffee shop, wherever you're at, it sucks. Go get a new one, man.
I'm gonna go walk around in the house and find the best spot.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
That's all I can see is that phone
Just
commercial.
like
Take
that,
two
just
steps.
like that. You'll be like, does this work? Do I need to move it higher? Lower?
He's gonna be doing the whole stream with like one arm up, phone, and like one leg lift. It's like, how about now? Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly how it's going to go.
You know, you never had any problems when you were in the jungle, Alpha, man. What happened to that? You like get modernized on us or what?
You know, sometimes you just need to leave the jungle for a bit. You know, you need a break from all of the greenery. It happens. It shouldn't, but you know it happens.
It does. It does. A little bit of social interaction. Hey, that's why we're here. So speaking of social interaction, we got a few more people backstage. So let's get them up here and get this party rocking.
Whoop, whoop.
And wow, he keeps falling apart. I don't know where he keeps going. So, wow, we lost everybody. Okay, I think Cyril broke it. I was going to bring Cyril and Rose up, but he keeps dropping off. So Cyril, come back, man. But another one who is from down in the jungle, yes, from the depths of El Salvador, none other than Mr. Braden. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Braden.
Hello. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, you sound pretty good.
Loud and
Yes.
clear.
Okay, good. I don't have a new mic, and I changed nothing, so we'll see if it works now.
Perfect. So far, so good.
Yep.
We had to get a whole new hard drive for this computer.
Oh.
So apparently now Cyril broke his laptop. Kind of the same thing we had last week with Wild Angel and her computer. So Rose, come on up here, dear. I know you have an invite because I sent you one. So Rose, come up here and tell us about Project Depression, if you would, please.
I could have swore you took the word duck out of that, so all I heard
He
was
did.
project.
He forgot to say duck
Okay.
depression.
Did I?
He's Serenity's
Depression.
having a very difficult English night.
Yeah. It's like my third language behind. It's gibberish and profanity. So I'm good with those.
It was just funny because I was just like, oh yeah, let's just talk about Project Depression.
Yeah, close enough. We're battling depression. And the man to battle depression and knock it out is none other than Cyril Kier. How you doing, buddy?
Hey,
What's
Cyril.
up?
Not much. You done breaking things?
Yeah, it's when you have the laptop on for too long with too many tabs while it's also running two monitors and like.
I know,
After a
man.
while.
Yeah,
After a
you've seen
while.
behind the scenes of my world.
Yeah, after a while, it just needs a good restart.
Yeah. I have to do it at least twice a day. Otherwise, things just goes weird on me. Let's see. And Rose is working on her new business model new business contracts.
Ooh.
Nice. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going well. She got her business insurance. She got her business filing. And she's already got like 2 clients that have agreed to sign with her and like another 2 that probably will. And she only
Good
needs
job.
6 to completely fill her schedule. So
Ooh.
Nice.
Yay, you're a third of the way there.
You can do it.
am I lagging?
No, you don't seem to be.
You did for a second there, I will say.
Okay,
Based on
so
my-
it's just my receiving everybody else that's lagging.
Oh, yeah, there you froze a little bit.
Yep.
Great.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that
right.
face.
Looks like he is lagging.
Yeah,
The face
you weren't
was
until you said
great.
that.
It's
Oh.
contagious.
Ah,
Well, let's give this a go for a little bit. I think
Okay.
my Wi-Fi might be being blocked through the intertubes.
Oh, that sucks. AI, you must have pissed him off from the last show. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a pretty heated conversation last week, guys. And if you missed it, definitely go back and watch the last Freaky Fridays and Rags to Riches, because we cover some great information on all of them. And I don't care who you are, I guarantee there's something in every Freaky Friday you're going to enjoy, or at least laugh at or shake your head like, oh God, did he really say that? Yeah, we do. We say pretty much anything around here.
Yeah.
Luckily, I did not get banned.
And I'm not going to apologize for it either.
No.
Oh.
Not at all. So, okay. I think we got everybody up here. Let me get caught up on the chats here. Sounds fancy, yes. It's going well. Good to hear, Rose. Our internet is doing crazy shite. Ooh, I hate it when it does that. Maybe time to reset. Yeah, could be. I've had to do that about once every month and a half, 2 months. I have to go out and unplug the modem and the router and the switch, fire those back up, and then restart every computer in the house, including the ASICs out in the garage. And it's a process. We'll just put it that way. See, we need new internet. Alpha Cruz, I could see that. Yeah, how do you run the internet in the jungle, by the way? Do you guys just string it from tree to tree, or how does that work?
I thought it was a bow and arrow, and you attach something to the end of it, and you launch it as far as it can go.
But you got to pull it super tight. Because if there's any...
I mean, you
in
know,
the
you need to get
string,
the
you
distance
know?
of the bow.
Right. Go.
You just send it over the trees, easy. Wherever it lands, you know, there you go. Work with it.
Perfect. Yeah, make sure to get the kinks out of the wire, Sarah. That's got to be it. You probably have your wire kinked. Might have it in a band. You know, if you do that, the signal goes around in circles and gets lost. So make sure it's straight.
No, apparently my daughter is playing Roblox, and she goes from game to game to game, and they always have to download like 500 freaking megabytes of data for her to load the next game, and so she's probably single-handedly slowing down our Wi-Fi right now. So maybe if Rose wants to tell her that she's got to pick one Roblox game and stick with it while we're doing a stream, or she can keep to her YouTube.
That's right.
She's sucking up all the bandwidth.
Yes, she is.
Apparently, yeah.
Internet, like, I can tell every time she switches to a different game, because like right now, everything's fine, right? But I guarantee you, if she decides to switch to a different game, everything's just going to grind to a halt, because I am also on the Wi-Fi on this device.
Ah, so Sarah, let me ask you on that. On my router, I have the capability to go in and limit certain devices about the amount of bandwidth that they can consume simultaneously. Can you put a cap or a limit on that where she can't suck up all the bandwidth?
I'm definitely going to look into it, because I can't have stuff like this happen when I'm on a client call.
Right, exactly, yeah. But there is a way I could go in there, and I don't remember what it was, but that's one thing. Is like, or I can give one priority, like my gaming system or my streaming. I have top priority, so I can suck up everything I want on this computer, and everybody else can just piss off. So yeah, check that out, because there are some settings on the nicer routers for that.
I remember that when you had...
Well, see, my desktop... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Cyril,
Sorry.
go.
I must be lagging.
You didn't
Maybe.
see me.
I'm
Hair.
lagging again. Freaking great.
He's going to get hostile. What were we going to say, Crow?
I was gonna say, I remember when you hooked it up to H's computer to be like at like 10 o'clock every night, it just killed itself. I remember that was the funniest thing, because that would be my weekend, and I'd be like, let's game, and we're gaming, and all of a sudden, fuck,
Dead.
happened?
Dad turned me off.
Yeah, then he would message me on his phone. Sorry, I gotta go to bed. Dad killed the internet on me.
Yep. Yeah, there's you start learning about the devices, what you can do. You can control a lot of things, and you got to figure that was several years ago. Now things are even more technical and more crazy, and so it gets pretty wild.
I remember when you fried your modem.
Oh yeah, I fried lots of things.
She used to convince you, huh, Alpha?
Yeah, convince. You know, we'll
How
we'll
did
stick
she
with that
convince
word.
you?
Twisted your arm? What'd she do? Bribe you with Girl Scout cookies?
She'd just look me in the eye and be like, "You playing Roblox with me?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm playing Roblox with you."
You can't tell them no, then you're just being mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, even but I'm busy. It's like, "You playing Roblox with me?" I'm like, yes. That's exactly what I mean to say. You know, it just came out a little wrong.
Exactly. Let's see. She's old enough to be playing Helldivers 2. There you go. Yeah, fire it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
She should
My
be
kids in
playing
their early
Helldivers
teens were playing
instead
Dead
of
by
Roblox.
Daylight and hunting down other people, so yeah. We won't talk about it. See, she's migrated downstairs. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Okay.
If the internet issues stop for me, right, then I'll know that that's what it was. But if they don't, then I'll just migrate upstairs to the desktop, since it's the only device in the house that's actually hardlined to the router.
Ah,
I was going to ask you, as technical as you are, why aren't you hardlined?
Because I saved that for the desktop.
You can plug in more than one cable. You know that, right?
I'm aware. Do you have any
Okay,
idea how
just
difficult it would be to run a hard line from the office where the router is into the garage where the laptop is?
oh, Serenity did that in a heartbeat.
Too bad you don't know a good electrician.
Right.
Too bad, eh?
I don't know if BTK's here, but I had to give him a hard time. Yeah, I've actually had to relocate mine. I put the router, switch, and everything actually in the hallway, right in the center of the house, and then I spiderweb it out from that location. So we've got a 16-port switch there with the router, the modem, and all that, and then it's just spiderweb, so everything is hardline except cell phones in our house.
Nice.
And her Chromebook. That's it.
Yeah, BTK is not going to be here. He's on a job that's got him working like 12-hour days. But it's
Woohoo,
only
he's
for 5
working.
days.
Good to hear he's working. I know that was really starting to weigh on him.
No, well, he's getting a whole hell of a lot of overtime and double time out of this.
Ooh.
So he's happy.
Hear that, Crow? Electricians get double time and overtime. You would know what
for
that's like,
salary.
dude. Welcome to hell, buddy.
Never become salaried unless you own the company.
Yeah, we used to laugh about that in Nashville. It's like, hey, look, I got a demotion. I'm now key lead or supervisor. Yeah, that's a demotion because it didn't matter how many hours, and they absolutely work that system. But hey, part of the job.
I was
So-
shocked when they sent me on site and they paid me for my on site time. Because I know there was a couple times they did that to Dan where they sent him on site and just gave him the salary.
Yeah, it can happen. They have that right, and it's in the contract, so they can work you as many hours as you accept. And you can always say no, and they have the right to terminate you, as you've seen me do. Like,
I was,
yeah, well, hell no.
Oh, that was always fun to watch.
Yeah. One thing you don't do is tell me what I'm going to be doing. It never turns out well. I don't care if it's even something I want to do. I'll just fight it because you told me I had to. I'm just that guy. Yeah.
Yep,
there-
he does.
Yeah, not Serenity sounding like a terrible toddler. Oh, you want me to do that? No, now I'm going to do the exact opposite.
I was gonna
You
do
want me
that.
to sit down? No, I'm standing up now.
There's an actual term for that because it's an actual condition, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Great. Something else out of my medical record of psychosis.
Oppositional defiant disorder.
ODD. Yep.
Mhm.
Which means you're odd, but we already knew that.
Perfect. All right. I love it. So, hey, speaking of odd, that leads us into tonight's topic. So, see, Cyro, you always blaze the trail. I love this. So, tonight, I want to talk about authenticity. Because, we are kind of a very mixed breed of people in a society that kind of wants everybody to fit in a bento box. They want to fit this mold of what's right, what's wrong, and do this, don't do that. But if you're doing that, are you really authentic? And if you're authentic, are you a rebel? Are you causing problems? And these are the questions we got to answer. So, kind of curious. So, who wants to jump in and start us off? Don't everybody talk at once.
All right. So we're talking about authenticity.
Yes.
Okay. It's a very broad topic.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Rose. Crickets chirp. Okay. So, I'll kick us off because, obviously nobody else is. By the way, Braden, I'm going to be authentic. And sometimes being authentic is being honest. Even when you're not trying to be hurtful, you got to be honest with somebody, even if it might hurt their feelings. So I've got to share something with you, Braden, and I'll do it right here because, be honest here. I tried to make some shorts from last week's Freaky Friday, and on every one of them, you were shoving food in your mouth. I couldn't make a short out of it, man. I had to do that just because I looked down. Do what?
Cam off when we're eating, I guess.
No, I don't mind the cam on. I just had to give you a hard time because I kept wanting to put you in every short I made, and every time I was like, oh.
Well,
So,
as skinny as he is, I mean, he probably has this massively fast metabolism that requires that.
Right.
Or
I love you, Braden.
the munchies.
I really do. But I felt bad because I couldn't put him in any shorts, and I tried to make sure everybody was represented in the show. And so, yeah, not trying to give you a hard time, Braden, but yeah, pick a time to eat. Go off. Okay, back on.
Yes, food is always in the stream.
Oh, God, yeah. Braden was just munching last week. Yeah, I agree, Alpha. And I really tried to share that. And I try to make sure everybody's represented. And that's hard to do sometimes, especially if it's somebody that maybe it wasn't a good topic. Maybe it's something where somebody's very vocal, like Wild Angel was in last week's. Man, that clip's exploding. Don't ask me why, but yeah, her rant is just exploding.
And it wasn't that big of a rant. It was very short and mellow compared to some of mine.
This is true. So, what were you smoking, Braden? We don't ask questions like that, Alpha. Anyway.
Had some munchies here.
It's because she's pretty. Okay, so we can go through comments all night because there's like 3 conversations going. Braden, I want you to know, man, I do not mean that in any negative way. But I wanted to share that with you to say, hey, I really want to put you in some of these shorts, man, but I can't do it if you've got half a sandwich hanging out of your face. So at least get some good screenshots from me, would you please? Thanks, buddy.
You want to pose like Superman?
There you go. So I got to ask, okay, I just had to be authentic with Braden. Had to be real with him. Had to deliver some news that maybe could have been taken very badly, or I could have been aggressive. I was like, seriously, what is wrong with you? You could have ruined the show. I mean, there's so many ways I could have go about this. So I really want to get some honest opinions. So Cyro, man, I'm going to put it to you because I know you'll be the most direct with me. How would you rate my delivery system of sharing that information with Braden?
I mean, the way that you presented it was great. However, I think that ideally it would have been something that you would address with him prior to the stream. Like, that's the thing. Like, when we're giving constructive criticism, it should be done in private, right? Directly with the person, because you're not trying to air out their areas of opportunity in front of their peers. You know, it doesn't really accomplish anything beyond, you know, additional embarrassment, right? Like, you know, taking it private first probably would have been the best way to go. So I'd have to actually, like, I give the content a good rating. I give the delivery a 1.
Okay, and that's good.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's the honest topic, and I need to know that because, you know, sometimes we think we're doing something, whether it's in jest or we think it's funny, or we don't think about all the aspects that go into it. And so I have no problem being the one to take that criticism because, yeah, you're right. Probably should have pulled him aside and said, hey, Braden, man, if you would, please. And you're probably absolutely right.
I know a girl who actually wound up struggling with an eating disorder for the bulk of her life because she used to get made fun of for eating food, you know? So
Really?
we never know what the perspective is of someone else. So that's always something that we should bear in mind.
That's a very good point. Okay. So, wow, I just fell off the train. I'm taking this to heart and absorbing it. And so that's one thing I don't think a lot of us do is we hear something that goes in one ear and out the other. It's like, doesn't protect me, doesn't affect me at all. So Braden, if I did in any way embarrass, upset, or make it uncomfortable, I do sincerely apologize. That was in no way my intentions. But as we know, intentions are like other things. Yeah, we won't go down that road. Anyway, I just want you to know, brother, I want you here. I want you to be here. And I'm sorry you haven't eaten for 24 hours. Matt, dude, seriously. Now I know why you're so skinny. I can't skip food for 2 hours. By the end of the stream, I'm starving to death.
Hence, his cookies are so important.
Right.
Right. Hey, I gotta keep my girlish figure. I'm in shape. Round's a shape. No, it's okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a long time to eat. Exactly. So, Alpha, let's turn you loose on this. So, what do you think about being authentic? When should you be authentic? When should you not? When do you need to curb that back and limit it? Welcome back, Braden.
I mean, I'd say you should always be authentic, but yeah, I guess at times you do need to curb it a little because it can tend to seem a little rude if you just always putting everything out, kind of like airing dirty laundry all the time. But
Right.
I suppose it's like sometimes you need to have the social sense, I guess, of being able to tell when you should say something at this time, or you should like maybe wait a bit and let someone know kind of on the down, or like, yo, I gotta tell you something because I noticed something. I thought maybe you didn't notice it, so I'm just trying to give you a little heads up, or I don't know, like I suppose it just comes down to that of the social win. It's a win. It really is a win of you need to know how things are. Damn, I'm struggling with the word tonight. It happens randomly. Actually, I've been struggling with words this whole week. Terrible.
Me too.
Good. I guess it is just the social, how things are socially at the time. You kind of need to read the room. There we go. Read the room, and then you know when to do it. You don't want to be the elephant after all. You want to be the fun person, not the elephant.
Interesting. So, it depends, you would say, on the location, the time, the era, the social environment in which you're in, to how much authenticity you can deliver.
I mean, technically, you'd still be authentic. It's just like maybe with certain things, like, okay, I need to maybe, like if it's in a serious situational thing, you're obviously going to need to be like, okay, I can't be making the worst kinds of jokes right now, even though that's something that we tend to do, especially me. But like in that state, you'd be like, okay, now I need to just be a little more serious with things and not be making horrible jokes that might make everyone angry, because that's not the time. And then maybe have other situations where you don't also want to bring a serious topic because everyone's having a little more fun. It's like a relaxed environment. Everyone's like, my friends and I, we don't drink often, but sometimes we'll chill with a bottle of red wine or so, and we'll just relax. I'm not going to come and be like, oh yeah, you're such an asshole and this and that. I'll maybe come with a joke in there, but I'm not going to be coming out here and attacking everyone like, I remember from last week when you told me this, and I'm going to whoop your ass for it now, I guess is how I would say it. It's like you find times to say or do things while always remaining who you are. It's like you're not curbing yourself, you're just learning to do things in a way that's socially acceptable to an extent, I guess.
Yes. Okay, we're talking about the money. Okay, I was kind of lost there, and that makes sense. And why didn't you give me this advice before I made an ass of myself earlier in the stream, man? Come on, you're supposed to help me out here, brother. What's wrong with you?
I didn't know what you were going to do.
Exactly.
Hey, neither do I.
Like his shirt says, he,
And yes, Wild Angel got me this shirt because it's very fitting, because I do some of the dumbest things. Yeah, I am the king of open my mouth, insert both feet, and swallow until shoelaces come out my nose. That's a standard on a good day. You gotta see me on a bad day.
Yeah, and I see authenticity not necessarily in a critical aspect. I see when people say, authenticity, I think just, this is who I am. And I'm not changing who I am for you or for anybody. Yes, I can have tact and a little bit of EQ. Yes, I can.
I'm trying to figure out what those words mean. Are they foreign?
Yeah, they are to you. But
welcome to the love in my house, people.
I can have tact and I can adjust how I'm saying something without changing the message or the intent or compromising what I stand for. And maintaining that personal integrity, that is what I call being authentic. Like, yes, I went on a little mini rant last week, but that's what I think. That's how I feel. And so that's just, it's me. If you don't like it, unless I'm married to you, I really don't care.
And if she's married to you, she still really doesn't care. She'll just tell you exactly how much she does not care.
Yeah. This is what you get with me. I am who I am. And sometimes it gets me in trouble because my EQ isn't always the best. But
So what is this EQ thing? I'm confused still.
Emotional
equivalent
intelligence.
of IQ. Emotional intelligence quotient.
Yeah, I have no idea.
you have a very low EQ.
Oh,
You really do.
thank you. I think. I'm guessing that's bad, right?
It's not the greatest.
Well, it's neither bad nor good per se. Like for the longest
learnable.
time, I would have rated my EQ very, very low, but that was due to the fact that I have autism and I don't really get or understand a lot of that, right? And however, EQ is something that can be trained, right?
Oh.
Which IQ, there's debates about that, but some of you are just stuck that way. No, I'm just
Yeah, you're screwed.
but EQ, you can learn it, right? Even if as someone who is more logic driven, you can still learn it, right? By studying something called micro expressions. And that's what I did. Micro expressions, it's those split second uncontrollable facial reactions and body motions that people make. They happen for a fraction of a second. Most people don't even realize it, but if you know what those are and what each one of them means, right, it creates the data point for you to logic your way through to understand what the other person is feeling right now, even if you wouldn't normally pick up on that.
Okay, and that makes sense. So it's actual physical signs that you're watching.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Because it's something I can use
Profilers.
my IQ to be better at by finding ways to turn EQ into actual data that I can, categorize and react to and respond to and things like that.
Gotcha. Okay. And that makes sense. And it sounds like it's something I definitely need to be studying because, yeah, it's apparently it's something I'm not good at and probably never have been because I don't even know about it. And, that's really interesting because a lot of us, some people would say we have weaknesses or we're lacking education in certain areas. A lot of times we don't know until somebody tells us. And sometimes they may tell us in the less of pleasant of ways. So, yeah. Sometimes we just open our mouth and start our foot, and then somebody has to speak up. It's like, dude, you're being a jerk. Shut up. It's like, okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
Even though you don't mean it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so when those opportunities present themselves, ask yourself, hey, what can I learn from this? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look up, I'm going to read about this, and Wild Angels are going to talk about it. And who knows, maybe it's something I can work on.
Yeah. I have a great book at work.
Oh, wait, I have to read? Oh, we're screwed. I can't read. I went to school and I know it, man.
No. What you do to make it interesting, right, is you get Wild Angel to read it to you at night. And if she gives you a little quiz at the end of each chapter that she reads to you and you get it correct, she removes an article of clothing, right? And that's how you get people who usually don't read interested in reading.
I like this game. Heard it here, folks. Yeah, I can't even talk. That got me so flustered I can't even talk anymore.
So I'll talk for a second then.
Go for it.
And sorry to everybody else, right? Who's not like, oh, great, here we go. But something that you should actually want to know about micro expressions, even if you are someone who does have good EQ, because you can learn a lot, right? Typically, if you ask someone to remember something or you ask them a detail, right? If they're looking towards the right, they're remembering something that happened, right? If they're looking up and to the right, it means they're remembering like an imagery, right? If they look to the left, it means that they're fabricating something.
They're accessing their creative side of their brain.
Sorry, I had that backwards because I forgot this is flipped on me, and I was trying to. So, if you ask them to remember a real event, their eyes move to the left, not the right. And so for the if it's like imagery or something that happened, they'll move to the right. Wait, hold on. Did I read this wrong? No, I didn't.
And there will be a quiz later, so you guys better be taking notes.
I'm just gonna paste it for you. There you go. Because I think my drink started to kick in.
Perfect. Have another. It's Friday night. Let's enjoy it. Although we do have a request. So, Cyril, apparently it's time for you to start reading to Rose. Just in case you missed it, I had to throw that out there. And, okay, this stuff is okay. There it is. So, reading eye movements. NLP advocates that if you ask someone to remember a real event, their eyes will move to the left. Ask them to construct an imaginary event, and their eyes will move to the right. Okay. Left is fact, right is false. They're left and right, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we got to keep an eye on that.
Yep. And if it's a visual thing, their eyes will be up and to the right or up and to the left, right?
Because they're accessing the visual cortex.
Yep. And it happens briefly. Like it's just a little flick, right? If you're not watching for it, you won't notice it. So that's why it's called a micro expression. It's you have to basically train yourself to see when it happens and identify it, and it's going to happen immediately after whatever thing that they've been presented with or asked about is said.
Gotcha. Okay. So apparently Rose is taking notes, and she is going to be grading you later, Cyril. So it should be interesting.
You know,
wow, just kind of pass the quiz.
While we're on the micro expressions, and so, you know, like allowing yourself to have that sort of micro expressions is also taking a form of authenticity, you know, because you're showing your thoughts and your feelings on your face. But funny enough, I'm a very expressionless person, so you'll very rarely see me change my expression unless I'm smiling or laughing. But everything else, I tend to just have a constant resting bitch face, you could say. So I don't seem very friendly coming on. The only time I'm friendly is when you actually start talking to me, because then I'll smile. But other than that, like, my face is just constantly neutral. I realize it a lot with the person I'm with. Her face is very expressive. Like, her face always changes for everything. Like, you can say something, it's just like, it's doing all those funny things. And I'll sometimes look at it and I'll be like, how does that work? My face is constantly in one way. Like, how do you deal with someone that's face doesn't change? Like, I know I can smile sometimes, or I will laugh, but everything else is just like straight face. It makes no sense to me.
That's you.
Expressionless?
Expressionless, yeah.
You can be. Yeah, when you're just sitting around doing nothing, you're just...
Yeah, but when am I ever sitting around doing nothing? If I am, I'm asleep usually.
I mean, I typically remind myself to smile and express and emote when I'm here on cam. You know, otherwise, if I'm on just a straight call with you, I mean, I'm sure Serenity, you've seen it. I usually just sit there like this.
Yeah. It's like, is he alive? It's like, hello?
So I guess I'd raise the question: does that like decrease a person's authenticity?
That's a great question. So, can you rate somebody's authenticity by the expression of their body language, their face, things like that? What do you guys think?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Because for some people, it is very much them to always kind of have a very stoic look on their face. That's very natural for them. That is them. And then, but you can hear it in the emotion in their voice rather than see it on their face. And it's just one of those that, yep, the duckies. Ooh, glow in the dark ducks? Dinosaur poop?
You lost me on that part.
Sorry. Totally
Squirrel.
a squirrel. But yeah, I don't think people have to be like super expressive in their face to be authentic. You can hear it in their voice. You can see it in other ways.
And maybe that's how she deals then. Maybe my voice
Could
is
be.
everything. It says enough.
Could be. So, what do you think, Braden? I'm asking that because I know right now he's probably just took. Oh, he didn't. It's like I'm eating lunch, man. Don't leave me alone.
I mean, I did just take a bite, but I take small bites.
Could be.
But yeah, I'm kind of, to be honest, I'm passively listening and talking to Alpha Cruz in the chat.
You're cheating on us with Alpha Cruz. You know you're both here on stage. You can talk all you want, man. I'll sit back. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about Bitcoin, which might not fit into this theme, but it also could in the topic of like in our topic that I'm supposed to remember, authenticity. It's, in my opinion, it's the only real authentic currency. Like, it's the only currency that I know of that exists that it takes real work to make, not just somebody pressing a button on the money printer to make more of. It takes actual electricity that you pay for. It takes actual, like, people making the electronics for the miners and a bunch of other third and fourth level things just to make one Bitcoin possible per 10 minutes. Or one block, rather, every 10 minutes. And now we just had the halving, so now it's 2 times as hard now.
Right. You know, and that's you're right. It does go hand in hand with it. And not to geek out, but let's geek out for a quick second here. Pretty much, Braden, in my opinion, and I'm sure Sarah's got 2 cents on this, but pretty much any proof of work token that has a capped limit would fall under that category.
But I don't think there is that many of both of those things. Like,
you've got like Litecoin, Dogecoin. They both qualify.
I mean, do those have proof of work?
Yes.
I guess, yeah. Do those have caps?
Both of them.
Yeah, but not. Neither of them are decentralized. They can all just be shut down at any time.
Isn't that
It would take
being decentralized?
decentralized means it cannot be shut down by a single hand or multiple hands. Bitcoin can't be shut down unless you have a worldwide power outage, which means worldwide internet outage. I mean, you can hit this, Cyril.
Go for it, Sarah.
What am I hitting?
How there's no other currencies that are actually decentralized except for Bitcoin? That I know of. That I know of.
There's a couple, but they're not widely used. There's actually some little fun research tunnel for you guys to dive down at some point. Google like micronations, like micro as in small nations. There's actually, most countries just try to pretend that they don't exist, right? But they're there. They have their own currencies. There's people that use them. There's one couple. There's actually there's a few here in the U.S. One of them uses a gold currency. But yeah. Anywho, side tangents. Research tunnel. So yeah. But Bitcoin is a decentralized. Well, maybe. Well, proof of work wise, it is currently, but that could change if you've got about $34 billion you're willing to spend, or is it like 30?
Yeah, if you have more than like some amount of control in it and sell it all, then you can make it drop. But I don't think anybody's gonna do that, because then they're just screwing it over for themselves.
Well, I was referring more to the cost to buy enough of the hardware necessary to be more than 51% of the validator nodes in existence.
Yeah.
So it would cost about $38.5 billion, I believe, but don't quote me on that. To do that to Bitcoin, and about $32 billion to do it to Ethereum. But I mean, it's kind of already been done to Ethereum. They just won't tell you that.
Sounds about right. And yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, because what's great about this, like you're talking about, is if you back up time, 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, that was not the narrative, not even close. It was a scam like everything else out there. So the question is, will in 5 years from now something else be up there to replace Bitcoin? Now, I was in Sensei chat today on Kryptonaires. Well, love Kryptonaires. Definitely check them out. But one of the things they were talking about, and it really struck me, is Bitcoin is kind of like the beta. If you guys are old and remember beta and VHS tapes, well, you had the beta tapes. They were better quality. They were all the way around and the best. But they were not easy access or easy to use. They're very expensive to use. So VHS came out on top in the long run. And in my opinion, I think we're going to see that with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a great store of value. But is it capable to being used on a day-to-day basis for instant transactions across the world? No, it's not. It can't do it. Something has to step into that field. And so I have a feeling that in the next 3 to 5 years, even sooner perhaps, something is going to rise up, because we want this digital currency to be used on a day-to-day basis for buying your coffee to paying your house payment. Bitcoin simply can't do it. There is nothing that can do those transactions that quickly, nor monitor and keep it secure without centralizing it. So something else has to rise above. So I would agree with you right now, Braden. I think you're right. In the long run, I don't think it can do it.
That's where the US government wants to introduce CBDC, the central bank digital currency, but that's a whole other thing. And yet, I think it has to be centralized to have a worldwide scale. But we're doing it almost perfectly here in El Salvador. I can buy anything I want with Bitcoin, convert it instantaneously to cash on my phone, and it goes right into my USD bank account, or I can convert it the other way with zero fees into my Bitcoin bank account, which I have another debit card for. So if I want to do, anything. Now most places don't use Lightning, so it takes around 5 or 10 minutes for it to go through, which is kind of a pain in the ass if you're going to like the grocery store. But now a lot of grocery stores, like the Home Depot, or the thing that's like Home Depot here, did it. Costco here did it. Made it Lightning, that is. And now all we have to do is get Walmart and some of the other grocery stores here to switch over, and then we're all set. Because everybody that's a small business owner, they're in Lightning because it doesn't cost them anything. Because if you don't use Lightning, the government taxes you because it's not as fast and it causes pain for the people that are trying to buy it. So it's like a pain tax.
Right.
Mhm.
That makes sense. And yeah, this is also what we talked about on last night's Rags to Riches. The markets are changing, and we're going to see something very unique in the next 1 to 2 years. The entire evolution is evolving. So we really don't know what it's going to look like. And my personal opinion is that we don't have all the pieces yet to make this a mainstream digital currency as of yet. I don't think anything can beat that. I mean, you start looking at the lines of some of these stores, or thousands of people at the fair alone. They're all trying to buy a corn dog at the same time. Nothing can handle that at this moment in time. But I think something's going to be Something's going to be coming. It's evolving every single day. New things are coming out. I think something's going to rise to the top.
Something
What do you think,
has
sir?
to do it.
Mhm.
So what I do, right, is I take my card and I just spend USDC, and it goes right on through, right? I just use, like, I went and got groceries one time, swiped my card, and kind of stood there for a second, not because I was waiting for a transaction to go through, but just because I was like, holy crap, I just paid for my groceries with straight USDC, right? And I didn't have to sell it, convert it, bridge it, none of that, whatever. It was just there.
Which
and it was
card is
done.
this? Which card is this? It's so cool. I need that in my life. Damn.
Well, it's for US people only right now. Sorry.
Damn it.
But it's called Juno. Juno.
Have you heard of Fold? It's sort of the same.
Okay. Well, maybe Alpha Cruz needs that one then, since he can't have Juno.
Except
I know.
it's Fold's a little bit different. It's in USD. Except when you buy something, you get, I think it's like 5 or 10% cash back, but you get the cash back sent to your Bitcoin wallet in Bitcoin as like a reward, I guess. And then every 10 purchases, you get a wheel spin, and you can get up to like, I think an eighth of a Bitcoin is like the 1 in 1,000th chance you could get. And then there's like other really small Satoshi amounts, like 500 Satoshi or something. So like a cent or less. But that takes out the fees. Pretty much every time you roll, you kill your fees from the last 10 purchases.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's cool.
Hot dog.
Dog meat. I won't even
I don't
ask.
know. You said that's meat, right? Well, I just-
I meant to say neat. Okay, I meant to say neat.
Yes,
Okay, so-
words are very hard today.
Oh, yeah.
Can't even type them right.
Nope, can't say them, can't type them. And it's interesting, and I think we are definitely looking at some major changes. So I'm going to be curious. I'm definitely watching and keeping a close eye on the pulse of what's going on. And that's something that I know Sarah and I have been talking about is what are we going to do next season in Rags to Riches? How are we going to bring that early content to you guys and really go deep into it? I mean, tear things apart. We're going to have some fun with it. So going to be a good time. So Crow.
I said,
I said what he said.
Yeah, what's up? Okay, that works. So, Crew, you've been quiet down there, buddy. Your turn. Come on. Let's hear it.
about what?
E, all the above.
All the above. I got nothing. I've just been kind of sitting here and hanging out with y'all.
Awesome. Are you having fun?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
Wouldn't
that
be here
works
if I
out.
wasn't.
That's good. And, that's one thing I love about your authenticity is you're real about it. It's like, nah, hey, if I'm not having fun, I'm out later. I'm noping. And
Bye.
right, yeah. And, that's one thing that I find a lot of people, they always say the same thing. They say, well, I have to. Well, because they did this, I have to do this. No, you don't. Why? How many times in a day, and I'm curious, Wild Angel, how many times a day do you do something that goes against what you think is right or what you feel you should be doing because somebody else did an action. And so instead of doing what you decide or what you think you would normally do, you do what you feel you should do because you have to. And if when you do that, are you being authentic or are you not? Are you deceiving?
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I really, really try not to change what I feel is right because of something else somebody did. And actually, I get rather irritated sometimes when people expect me to change what I'm doing because they want me to do something else, or they acted in a certain way and I don't respond according to their script.
We've had big fights about that one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are times that I have to take an action because somebody else took an action, because somebody else took an action, and it has trickled down to me. And it's like, okay, this just needs to be fixed. So I'm just going to fix it instead of passing it on to the next person when it could have been fixed 3 people ago. And that happened this morning. I got shit done today because I was fixing something that actually started 6 months ago. And it's almost end of fiscal year. So if it doesn't get fixed now, we're not going to be reporting accurately. And, you know, government and accurate reporting and financials, they can get kind of cranky. Yeah. So, and actually I had to say, hey, I caught a mistake I made a year ago. I issued somebody a refund when they weren't supposed to have one, but they never cashed the check. So I just told them, hey, cancel this one. They don't get it. It was great. And it won't affect anything. So
except the check that they don't get to cash.
Right. Well, the check is actually expiring. And so that's part of where the fix came in from starting 6 months ago. These people never cashed their refund checks. So to the tune of about $800,000 worth of refund checks. And so I was tracking those down today and who they belong to and everything. So, you know, but there are so many things that I can totally get if you fire. They're looking back. Whoa. Yeah, no.
Dude, who's flying the plane, man?
You got
Keep your eyes on the road.
I just want to come out here and ask you a couple minutes of how's everyone doing today? Is everyone okay? Wait, if you're here, who's flying?
Right.
The plane slowly starts going downward. I'd say it's fine. It's autopilot. It'll adjust. And maybe it won't.
Just walk around with what's that the Apple Vision Pro. But like, nah, don't worry, guys. I'm controlling it with the Apple Vision Pro. Like, don't stress about it. I can see what's happening there.
We're going like this.
Right? Yeah. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
We'll level off at the bottom.
It's not the fall you got to worry about. It's that sudden stop at the bottom. That's what gets you every time.
That's funny.
I thought so. Okay. I'm waiting for somebody else to keep going. Yeah. You guys are on a roll so far. We've been down some rabbit holes. It's great. So, Cyril, curious. Now, you and I have talked several times, and there are times when, what is that? Okay, pause. Hold on. Jumbotron, bring her up here. What do we got? It's a blue duck.
It's a little tiny T-Rex.
So it looks like a
Yeah,
dinosaur.
it's a dinosaur. How do you not see that that's a dinosaur?
Okay, where's the Brachiosaurus?
From
They
Joe's
get big
to
head and little
Giraffe.
arms.
Oh, they're adorable.
That's awesome.
All right, real talk. Why do
Sorry.
T-Rexes always seem so mad?
'Cause
You
they
would too
can't
if you
reach
had little tiny
anything,
arms.
Because they can't scratch the forehead.
right? They can't even scratch their nose or their butts.
Ooh, that would suck.
Okay, take me off the
Oh
joke.
my goodness.
So right before this changes and I forget, right? Okay, because I totally will. T-Rexes didn't have little tiny arms. Okay, they had wings, right? So if you look at a typical bird skeletal structure, what they show as the arms for T-Rex, for the bones, same thing as bird wings, right?
Oh.
But the little tiny bones that would be the segments, coming down and stuff like that, probably just didn't survive or got confused as a different part of the skeleton. They were basically literal dragons, guys.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's
Maybe it was cartilage, so it completely degraded.
right.
Since cartilage doesn't last.
Yep, or it could have been some cartilage. Rose, you may not have some honey barbecue T-Rex wings.
So, yeah, I
No,
saw
that's
Shrek.
really the drumstick.
Yeah, I saw Shrek, and there was a dragon there, but then all of a sudden she was mating with a donkey. Who knows? This is what happens in interracial mixes. You got to watch it because dragon, donkey, T-Rex. There you go. Problem solved.
The only interracial relationship that never should have happened is letters and numbers. And then, God forbid, they went and had children. The Roots and the Powers. Holy shit, just stop.
Welcome to math.
No, algebra, go away.
All the good stuff. I loved algebra. That was just me.
It sucked. It killed my GPA for the very first class. Started me
Sorry.
on a bad track. I have issues with algebra.
And most dinosaurs had feathers.
Really?
Yes. So there's been, you don't really hear about it, right?
Right.
Because a lot of them kind of keep it under wraps. But there's been a whole bunch of new discoveries and sciences in regards to dinosaurs and discoveries that have been made, including very well preserved carcasses that still had feather remnants all over the body, right? They've found ones that had 2 chambers inside the nostrils with residue that was still existing of 2 chemicals that in sufficient quantities when combined would ignite, kind of like the defenses that we see in a lot of lizards today where they're able to spit their venom or acid. You've got toads that literally regurgitate their entire innards onto their prey and then just pull it back inside. Like, oh, but
That's disturbing.
seriously, go dig into some of the more recent discoveries about dinosaurs, guys. It's fascinating stuff.
I don't have to dig in. It sounds like they're just going to spit out all the facts right there. Here you go.
Well, I
And
have
maybe
these-
set it on fire.
I have these books for toddlers that they're quiet playbooks. Yeah, he's going to get a couple. But one of them is a dinosaur book. And I've kind of hit a creative block because I hated the dinosaurs that came with the pattern until I found these guys. They're perfect. I love them. Now I can finish the book.
They're adorable. I like them. So, no, and that's really interesting. And so, that goes back into kind of what we're talking about, authenticity. So we've got all these school books, and we've been learning about dinosaurs for hundreds of thousands of years. And we find out, guess what? We lied, guys. It was all wrong. We didn't know what the hell we were talking about. It's like, wait a minute. That's kind of scary. You start thinking about that. But we're seeing that more and more. As technology is advancing and we're learning more, we're realizing that for most of it, we were wrong. And that's a hard one to swallow some days.
Science books get rewritten all the time because they discover something different that debunks something they thought for a very long time. Dinosaurs are still a theory, their bodies and everything. It's still very much a school of thought, a theory, because we weren't there. We don't know. We can get a lot of the new science of, some feathers were found, or some, pieces and parts are different and that kind of thing. But
Full carcasses with skin still intact too.
right,
Whoa.
but they're just discovering some of these. So new discoveries are debunking, 400 or 500 years worth of science.
Mhm.
Happens all the time.
Dude, they just recently discovered that universal constants that they have agreed upon as being constant are not actually constant. They've discovered that matter has been affected differently by things in the past, and it's slowing down, like these rates of interaction, right? So like we've built all of our schools of thought in regards to physics on the understanding of this is how physics has always been, when we've just discovered that's not the case. Physics has not always followed these rules, and we're realizing that now, and it's helping answer a lot of questions, and it's bringing science closer to actually having a unified field theory that combines general relativity and quantum field theory. So, and that's wild stuff, because that tells you essentially how the universe was made, scientifically proven with math, right? And at that point, we can put certain things to bed finally and actually progress as a society. So that's all I'll say about that.
And it's same kind of thing. We're seeing all this stuff. I know this is left field, but all these documentaries about aliens being seen, spotted, video, all the unlocked documentation. I watched one the other day about J-Rod, the alien they kept at Area 51, and he actually worked with our scientists. So, you've got to ask yourself through all this, how authentic is the information we're receiving? Whether it's from school books, from social media, from whatever, is it real? Or is it imaginary? Is it made up? Are they telling us what they want us to know? Or are we being told what's really out there? What do you guys think?
I think some of it is being presented with filters, because maybe they don't think we are capable of understanding and handling the information in a mature fashion, or if we're all going to freak out like little kids. And so we get filters on our information. So that's my theory.
Bet you, Alpha.
I think there's a lot that we don't know yet, but I also don't think that we're getting the real truth of everything that's going on out of the planet. I mean, we don't even get the truth of everything that's happening on the planet. So, it's a fast session we do. We're like, oh no, they're definitely telling the truth about everything. So, there's definitely a lot of whole truths and complete and utter lies. But it's also fine to I suppose play with the idea that they are aliens and they are living among us, or they are lizard people, because Mark Zuckerberg is a lizard person. So it's fine to play with a concept like that. Just until we actually see it for ourselves, we as humans won't actually believe it, because that's just how we tend to not accept the unknown unless it's physically proven there. So but it's also fun to think that a lot of the concepts that we know and have accepted as absolute truths can be overturned at any point in time, especially with like what Barry's saying, quantum physics. Quantum physics is likely the driving force behind why everyone is just like, oh damn, such constants aren't actually constant. Because the more you learn, the crazier things become. The more you actually know that, oh, I was an idiot for believing this to begin with. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to accept. That I was dumb and I need to reflect on my actions and thoughts.
Right.
Sometimes we just need a little bit of that in our lives. Maybe that also ties very well into being authentic. Being able to accept downfalls and move on from that.
And
And I
that's
remember something.
sorry, go ahead.
I said my fish isn't very expressive. However, if I don't like someone or if someone says something that doesn't sit with me, you will see it. There's no doubt about that. You will see it on my face. So
When it's important, you express it. You emote
yeah,
in your face, but a lot of the little stuff isn't worth it. It takes
Basically.
energy to be expressive.
a lot of energy, and I don't have all that energy for everything when my brain is constantly thinking, oh, does this work? How does that work? My brain wants to think about other things, not how to move my face.
Right?
But you realize the question is, like the whole T-Rex thing and stuff like that. If whoever is presenting the information believes that information to be true, because that's what their culmination of their research or whatever is, for them that's true, but it turns out later it's debunked, were they being unauthentic? 'Cause
No.
Maybe they were
wrong.
misdirected.
Yeah.
As long as you're being authentic to your truth.
And then accept when things are proven not to be as you believe them to be.
Yes.
That's a tough one. A lot of people have problems with acceptance. And a lot of times what we are told to accept or have to accept is things that go against everything we believe. So what do you guys do in that situation when it's being proven that obviously you were completely wrong? And it takes a hit to the pride, the personality, everything about that. How do you guys handle that?
First, by understanding that it is actually a natural mechanism within your brain to reject any information that does not align with what you believe to be true, right? Regardless of what the information says, your mind's immediate reaction is going to be to reject it, right? So you need to, when you are presented with information and you start hearing that information from more and more and more sources, you need to realize that, hey, maybe I'm wrong on this, right? Don't just jump at the first short video or whatever you see talking about, the earth is flat or something like that, right? But when you start, in psychology even says, it's not considered a delusion if it's shared by a significant number of people, right? And once you really start to understand what quantum field theory means, if it is indeed true, right? That if enough people agree something in their core, they essentially split off into their own universe, if you will, right? Because you cannot have more than one truth. And if a bunch of people are agreeing on one truth, then they're going to go that way and you're going to go that way with the other group, right? Because of the way consciousness interacts with the universe around it. It's wild stuff. And we could spend literal hours talking about it, and we wouldn't even be scratching the surface. I've been researching this for 21 years now. It's crazy.
This is
Yeah,
nuts.
that was
So
something.
Good.
That was something Einstein also spoke about, realism, eh?
Subjective realism, and it's the science is showing that that's kind of the way things are.
interesting. So let's see if this works. Beam me up, Scotty. There's no intelligent life here. It's not working, man. Can I go home now?
Remember me talking a couple shows ago about how there's been studies recently that are starting to theorize that as much as like 55 to 60% of the population is not actually conscious, right? That's why, right? A bulk of them are off in their own reality that they split off to because they're all agreeing to a certain universal truth, right? And they are effectively NPCs in our agreed upon consciousness, right? You know, they're in a universe where maybe crypto's a scam. You know, maybe Bitcoin is, you know, the giant Ponzi that they're all saying it is, right? You know, we're in our schism universe where, you know, we believe that, you know, BTC is a good decentralized currency. It's a good way to protect yourself from, you know, inflation and other foreign interests and things like that. So here we are in our reality.
That's interesting. You start thinking about people walking on the earth that are NPCs, and I think we've all run into them. I mean, they're the ones that they give you the standard answer.
That just sounds funny.
Well, it's there was actually one, I just read an article about they're bringing AI into the NPCs in game world to where you will always have a different answer, and they will react to you, what you've done in the past, and it's getting crazy. So the question then, of course, is when does a player become the NPC and the NPC become the player? When do the roles reverse?
Have you seen the video of the guy who has a very well-trained AI? It's been given so many different data points, and it runs different instances of AI for each of the characters, right? And in Skyrim, in the VR version, and the dude will literally just, he'll spend his evenings hanging out in the tavern, talking with the different NPCs, learning their backstories, talking with them, and the AI is literally creating all of this, talking with him and everything, and then there's two of them at the bar who are sitting at the table talking with him, and through the course of the conversation, he's like, what do you want? And he's like, honestly, I want to find a nice woman and settle down. And, you know, he starts describing his ideal woman and the life that they would have. And then the female companion that's sitting there, you know, kind of like, yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm looking for someone too, you know, and this is the kind of life that I would like to have. That sounds pretty good, actually. And then so the guy asks them, he says, well, did you ever think that maybe it sounds like you two might really like each other and love each other over the course of our adventures? And you see the two AI characters turn and they look at each other and the game crashes.
What the hell?
That's crazy.
And had an emotional response right there, and that's it. Yeah, game over. We're done.
Because it wasn't sure how to compute love yet.
Right. And that's gonna be scary when that game does keep going. That's when I'm getting a ticket off this rock. I'm out.
Yeah, when AI can make sense of emotion and portray itself as an emotional being authentically, I mean realistic, I mean to where we think it's real, yeah, that's going to be kind of scary. And I know it's not that far away.
And like Barry says, games are a simulation within the simulation because we are simulation. Absolutely. You got to ask yourself, are we really here? I mean, we think we are, therefore we are.
Wild Angel? Yeah, no, it's not that far away. That's actually what my company's working on, sort of. Essentially creating a kit that scans your brain through a very carefully guided interview, collects all the data points of your history as you tell it while reading the micro expressions on your face to create emotional data points. And then it combines all of that while creating a VR render of you as a memory engram that someone can pull up either 50, 100, 1,000 years in the future, 10,000 years in the future, pull you up into a VR environment, sit down and literally have a conversation with you, and it will act just like you because it has all the same data points that make you you, right? And the scanning equipment that we're developing for that is, you know, collecting all of that sort of information within your brain scan. And they have AI developed to the point now where they can literally create a real-time video with great clarity of what you're thinking about as you're thinking about it. So by combining all of this, you know, we're going to give people the option to like either sell access to their engram on a monthly basis if they're an educator, right? And they can limit like what kind of like the parameters of the questions are, you know, to a specific category. That way they can share their knowledge forever. I know Steve Jobs, when he was dying, he said, what's going to happen to everything I've learned, my experiences? How am I going to pass that on? You know, now you'll be able to. And you'll be able to be called up by your great grandkids who want to sit down and get to know who you were, because everyone's biggest fear is being forgotten.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's pretty fascinating. And, you know, Braden, you made a comment here, said, but there's one thing that AI can't do. I'm curious, what is that, Braden?
Supposed to.
Can't mimic human uncertainty. As in, if you have two different options, the AI will always choose one. For a human, if you have two different options, there's always three. You can always at least attempt to say no or not decide.
Or choose not
But an
to
AI,
choose.
yeah, just choose not to choose. Just opt out. An AI will, you would have to code that into the AI, and at that point, it's not an AI anymore because you told it to make that decision. Or you give it a probability of every 10 questions, choose not to choose, or something like that.
So, not for long, because of the advancements in quantum computing. That brings quantum potential, which is what makes us us, to digital, to our AI. We will be able to give it that quantum potential that makes humanity conscious. So, and we're not far away from it.
Doesn't that scare you though? Possibly not necessarily like Terminator or anything, or Inception or The Matrix or anything. Just aiding something that could possibly be smarter than you are in some senses of the word, that you would have no control over at some point. It's like decentralized currency. You can't end it.
I don't have control over anyone anyway, do I?
No, but you can give, I don't know.
If the government decides they want to storm my house and shoot me dead in the next hour, they can, and there's nothing I can do to stop that.
Yeah.
Right?
But then you have us that would know, probably. They could stop. I mean, they could at least stop it from happening, or go say, hey, you know, this just happened, put it on the news, you know, we gotta get this out so they don't do it to anybody else. Because then I'll probably be the next one to disappear, and then Alpha will be the next one to disappear.
Don't say I'm crazy, it's okay.
And yeah, Barry, AI can't have real feelings like we've seen in a lot of movies, and it can't have free will either. Those are good points.
So I want to throw something in on that because, you know, Braden, you asked a question. Wouldn't you be afraid of creating something that is potentially smarter than you and that you can't control? I think where you're wording here. And you know what popped in my head?
That's children.
Exactly. That's exactly what I say. You know what? I'm proud to do so. I'm proud to bring a new life into this world I can't control. I can't decide. I can educate it from my experiences, but I hope to God it's smarter than I am, because I screwed a lot of shit up in my life. I mean, that's what I'm doing. And so, no, actually, I would be very proud to be a part of that. Now, hopefully through those life lessons, through my experiences and through my knowledge, I can teach it the concept of a perception, at least, of good and bad, right and wrong. Why is a life precious? Why should you not to go out and be a sadomasochist and whatever serial killer? Hopefully, I can do that, but there's no guarantee. That's just being a parent, man.
Yep. Not to mention Roko's basilisk, right? You know, if you're not, if you understand that technology is going to get to that point, then you really shouldn't resist it. If anything, you should endeavor to assist it. Because if it would be logical, it's going to know that you would also know that your tech is going to create it, right? And that you actively chose to not bring it into existence. Wouldn't that make it angry at you?
Yeah, now it's pissed.
Right. Like if I wanted, you know, like I wouldn't want to, you know, to have a, I don't know, I'm losing my train of thought here. I'm just going to shut up.
You're right, Alpha. We always end up in the techie side because there's a nerd in all of us. Somewhere in all of us, there's a geek, whether it be for robots, it's AI, it's Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, take your pick. You know, I think society in itself, just everything about us, we've grown to really enjoy tech. You know, I'm an old guy. I remember playing outside before cell phones, before computers. Barely game consoles were created when I was really young. So, but I think that the nerdy side of the tech side always comes into play because it is such a crucial part of our life. So the really scary part is, what would life be like if all tech suddenly stopped working? Then what?
Says the
At
least
that-
techie person in the room.
At the moment he asked that question, we all should have just dropped out of the call and acted like his internet failed.
Everybody just freeze.
I think some of these questions that are going through the chat, I think it comes down to sentience. When AI
Yes.
develops morality, unprogrammed morality, and the ability to decide if something is good or bad, that is sentience. That is a life form, not a piece of technology. Then it ceases to be a thing and becomes an entity of a living being, for lack of a better word. But a lot of these, it's, you know, right now, no, it can't tell why you shouldn't kill somebody. All
It can
knows-
only say, I'm not commanded to kill anybody. I'm not allowed
Right.
to kill anybody. But it shouldn't, it can't tell you why
killing is bad.
why it shouldn't end another human's life or a human's life.
Or another. Yeah. It's
Right. For now.
for now.
Right.
Eventually, it would be. It's kind of scary to think about. Sorry, but I think it'd be also kind of cool. Kind of like Data from Star Trek running around. Yes, Data was programmed with these moral decisions already made. Was programmed for that. But as the series progressed, Data started asking why. And I think that is the difference between a piece of technology and a sentient being, is asking why. Why is it wrong? Why shouldn't I do this? Not just because they programmed me that way. And, you know, why should I care that this person is happy or that person's hurt? Why should I care? A lot of the world and a lot of our humanity comes to us asking why. And AI will never be human, but it's going to get pretty damn close to where we may have a hard time distinguishing.
Well, for so long, we have judged sentience and consciousness by our own standards, which, not the right way to do it, right? And so we just recently started learning that that is not everything sentience is. It blocked my link. I tried to post a link to an article.
Yeah, you have to send it to him and then he can post it.
Yeah, just did. Post that. So, science has recently discovered that pretty much every creature they've tested so far, with the new understanding and the new rules of science, and is discovering that they are actually aware of themselves, right? Previously thought not to be the case, including even insects. And they're displaying signs of consciousness down to the very smallest of them, with behaviors, from bees stopping to play with wooden balls that were left on a little bee playground throughout the day for no other purpose than to just play with them because they apparently enjoy it, and many other different things. And, they're recently learning that plants actually can communicate and they can see, and they share information back and forth between each other, and they make audible outside of our hearing range communications, right? So yeah, it's a lot to think about. So when we're realizing that so much around us is actually conscious, that we never before considered to be conscious because we never bothered to look, was the big part.
Yes, we are very egocentric.
Yeah. And, so who's to say that an AI consciousness, right, or a quantum AI consciousness isn't a life form, and shouldn't be treated as such? And perhaps maybe it's the natural evolution of the way life goes to the digital, to the bits, the information, the photons, because, maybe that's the way it's all supposed to be. Who knows?
Exactly. And you start thinking about it. I mean, you look at just how our brain works. It's nothing more than the neurons interconnected of electrical signals. Isn't that what, the internet is? A whole bunch of computers, sending signals. It's the same damn thing. You take a plant, you take their roots, you take all... it all operates on the same basic principles of electrical impulses. Now, you could go down the molecular level and everything else, but even looking at the very basics of it, and from my understanding, and I haven't done the research you have, Sarl, but I look at an internet connection and I look at the human brain, how they interact. It's like, well, they look exactly the damn same. You got a little spot that the signal is sent to another spot it's sent to, and that's it. What makes us superior? Because we think we are. What happens when a computer thinks it's superior? And it probably is. It's going to be very, very interesting. And one thing that always really made me question about what's going to happen when AI comes about was out of the movie The Matrix. And it was when Agent Smith is describing humans. He says they're like a cancer. Every other species on this planet will find a natural equilibrium with its environment, except humans. We show up, we consume, we destroy, we do everything we want to do, and we don't care about anything else. So what happens when AI looks at planet Earth and says, hey, you know what, this bird is cool, he's doing this, and they interact. But humans, man, they just screw shit up. Yeah, it's got to make the choice. Once it has that level of knowledge, can it make that choice, and what will it choose?
It states we're a virus, not a cancer, a virus.
Oh, sorry, virus, my bad, virus. It was bad either way. It wasn't good. What do you think, Alpha? You've been awful quiet down there, buddy.
Oh, I've just been listening because there's been some interesting stuff.
Yeah, you've been
going crazy.
Yeah, you've been typing crazy. So, Matt, jump up here. Let's hear it.
I just was thinking about the AI thing. if AI gets to the point where we use quantum technology to technically give it sentience, does it then experience local realism and subjective realism? Does it then become a conscious being that now is basically no different to anything else that's a life form? And then it also gets to the point of how do you define what a life is? Is it single-cell organisms that technically are life forms? Is it multicellular organisms that are technically life forms? Or does it only come to a point where it has a consciousness, but then technically doesn't small things also have a consciousness, like bugs and so on? So it just gets a whole lot of craziness, and then the only way to really put things to rest is to be able to find a definitive way to describe what one thing is and then separate it from the rest, which is what humans tend to be very good at doing. So I'm sure we'll get there eventually. It's just finding I suppose, constant, as we like to do, finding constants that we can use as definitive traits to determine what sort of being or existence something is, and then figure out if they have subjective or local realism. A theory of relativity is a very awesome thing. Yeah.
That's you, Crow. You're still real quiet too.
Kind of the same boat as Alpha, just taking all this information in and just. I have someone say I'll pitch in, but I'm just kind of listening.
That works. So, and Barry made a comment here, said, not all humans are viruses. Hunter-gatherers are not a virus, for example. And, that's interesting. So, I know a lot of us, there are a lot of people out there who say, well, I'm a vegan, I'm this, I'm that, I live off nature, things. Yet we still use processed goods. Now, the processing of those goods creates the toxins. They create the unhealthy environment of the planet itself, which could be harmful to trees or whatever, to build that plant, to process that material you're using, whether it's clothes, fishing poles, take your pick. So wouldn't that still be perpetuating the cycle, even though we are trying to live off the grid and live naturally, unless we went all the way back to the Indian days or way back the Aztecs? Aren't we still in some way polluting the natural balance of the ecology or ecosystem? Is that the right word?
Because I know that they had to be hunter-gatherers had to be careful and move where they were and rotate so they didn't strip an area. And Aboriginal life, no, they are so in tune, and they spread out. When they go on foraging and hunting and everything, they try to go to different areas to spread out what they're gathering from their environment, whether it be plant or animal life, so they don't decimate an area. Industrialized society decimates their environment, whether it be through toxins or just building. And industrialization caused population booms, which created more feedback loop. So I agree, Barry, about the hunter-gatherers taken in their original way back days version, and the Aborigines, they're a great example of living in balance. And so
absolutely,
I think it'd be kind of cool to live that way.
Yeah, I don't know. We've gotten pretty spoiled. But you said something that really piqued my interest here, and I started putting two and two together. So if we're talking about AI becoming sentient, becoming a life form, and we're worried about it seeing the humans as the virus, where we're polluting, we're not living in balance. Yet you used a word that really stuck out to me there, Wild Angel, was industrial. Wouldn't AI require an industrial environment to exist? So therefore, would it see itself? No?
I'm agreeing with Cyril shaking his head and his finger. I don't think so.
Okay, why?
Cyril, you can probably state it more eloquently than I can.
Yeah, absolutely. So another wild research topic that you can dive down is the advances they've made in bioorganic computing. Like, they have literal chips, transistors, switches, like all that kind of stuff. They've created bioorganic versions of it. They've created pretty fast ones with it. They've created ones that run off of barely any energy, right? You know, you just basically kind of maintain the cellular ecosystem there. Yeah, it's so it could actually be healthier for the environment, essentially, to create big bioorganic computer farms that would actually have better processing, because the neurons would be able to create better pathways to create millions of more connections than ever thought before with traditional computing.
Interesting. Okay, so they're actually at that point where they're making computer components out of biomaterial.
Yeah, and
Really?
it's a very expensive process right now, right? So right now it's not, that efficient, but as they perfect the process and get it better, similar to how big computers became small, Go ahead, Braden.
You're right.
Yeah, I didn't want to cut Cyril off, but I wanted to continue a little bit, maybe explain a little bit more about local reality and then objective reality. So originally Einstein came up with those two terms, and local reality he defined as, or he didn't define, but is where everything happens nearby. Think about gravity or electricity. They affect things that are close by, as in things that they touch or interact with within several, I don't know, human understandable dimensions, albeit kilometers or meters or miles or light years. Those things like the paths that electrons take or atoms take as they orbit around and just move around however they would like. That's what he liked to call the objective reality, because we can't, before we look at an atom in a microscope or however we want to view it, we don't know exactly where it is. Like, for example, if you put your glasses on the table and you leave it there when you go to work and you come home, unless somebody broke into your house, they're going to be there. But the person breaking into your house, that puts a layer of superposition into it where you don't know if they broke into your house or not. They could have, or they could not have. Until you get home, you don't know if your glasses are going to be there or not. That's Schrodinger's cat. It was the experiment that he did. He put a cat inside of a box with poison and a radioactive isotope and a Geiger counter. If the radioactive isotope let off a beta particle, the Geiger counter went off and broke the glass of poison, and the cat drank it. And you seal up that box, you have no idea if the glass is broken, if the radioactive isotope went off, if the particle detector detected it, or if the cat drank the poison. You don't know if any of those things happen unless you open the box, which is the objective reality. It may be unknown to you, but maybe...
Sidetrack.
Maybe somebody else knows the answer to it, or knows the outcome of that experiment before you know the answer. That's local objective reality, or the objective reality. And local reality is more like magnetic fields, so Maxwell's theory of electromagnetism, or Newton's theory of gravity, things that we know will happen every time if we look at it or not. Now, particles, like we know from Einstein, or we may not know for sure, but it's been pretty much proven that without viewing something, a particle that is controlled by superposition, you can't know the outcome of it. It may be there or it may not. It may have hit the detector or it may not have. You don't know until you view it. That's quantum mechanics, and it's very hard and confusing to explain, especially me being only 20. I have not very good communication skills, so yeah, Alpha Cruise, it basically means it's real, even though you don't know it's real. You know something is there. You don't know exactly the outcome until you view it. So yeah, I don't know if that explained anything or just made it more muddy or murky. I don't know if Cyril wants to add on to that, but I just had to, show off about how much I know about superposition and quantum theory. Being 20?
You got me beat.
I mean, I have...
Some of these brainy people we have around here can be kind of intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, it's somebody that was on the brink of death, couldn't understand, and spent his entire life trying to figure out. And in his last breaths, his wife said that he was about to tell her something, but he couldn't get it out, and she went to get him a journal to write it, and then he died.
Oh.
So we could have gotten a huge nugget of knowledge from Einstein, but it was too late at that point, and he died, so we'll never know what he was going to figure out, if we already figured it out by 2024 or not. We never know. Again, it's superposition. There you go, Barry. Go ahead.
So, well, Andrew, you said this is intimidating. Why do you think it's intimidating?
I said some of these brainy people can be, we have quite a few of them.
Right.
And we have some people that have done an extensive amount of research on some topics. And it can be intimidating to try to, pitch in, because it's scary being, trying to put out an idea around people that already know so much if you don't feel you do. So it can be somewhat intimidating.
So that kind of goes back to our initial topic, and all this is part of it, believe it or not, but you brought up a great point right there, Wild Angels. You say it's intimidating because, yes, they have that knowledge, that experience, everything like that. But let me ask you, how many people here have the knowledge to make Henry the Pig and crochet it in a real-life replica? Can anybody do that?
Not me.
I hate this pig right now. Really
I can knit. Does that count?
It's close. It's close. I can sew. I can't crochet.
Oh my God, he sews beautifully.
Thank you. But the simple fact is, everybody has their strengths. Everybody has their weaknesses. We have our passions and our knowledges. That's what makes us authentic. So the fact that we can share that, and we have such a diverse thing here, I never want anybody to feel dumb or cast out or anything else, because everybody has a skill set that other people don't have. And so, that's one of the great things I love about this on Friday nights is we can share all kinds of stuff. And yeah, about half the stuff that you guys just said went totally over my head. It's like, I saw a movie about that. That's about as much as I know. And you know what? That's okay, because I'm learning little pieces. So I really invite all of you to not feel intimidated. And, if something piqued your curiosity, look it up. Cyrus and Alf Cruz and Braden and everybody's been sharing links and ideas and terminology. Hey, I don't know a thing, but I'm sure going to be Googling something that's like, what the hell is this stuff? And, absolutely. You're never locked into a path of knowledge. You always have the choice to grow it. And I urge you to do so.
And, Wild Angel, I just want to put it out there that that's how growth happens, right? you know, if you don't like, if you, again, a saying that I love is, if you are in a group or in a room, ask yourself, am I the smartest person here? If the answer is yes, you're in the wrong room, right? Because you want to be surrounded by what you want to grow, right? You know, so if you want to be surrounded by the people who are maybe in an area of knowledge that you want to gain, right? Or in a lifestyle that you want to be, you know. And so you surround yourself with that. You ask the questions, you have the conversations, you say, does the world or the universe kind of work like this? And, you know, then I can say, you're on the right track, but it kind of works a little more like this, right? According to quantum field theory, you know, and that's how learning happens. That's how we grow.
Right. It can be intimidating, though, to be in a room with people talking big things. And if you just being like nervous about wanting to ask a question, because most people care what other people think. And so that creates the nerves and the feeling of like being in less. And so, yes, it is totally an opportunity to grow. And I think it's cool. But yeah, it can be kind of intimidating around you guys sometimes.
And I'm sure if somebody... Go ahead.
As I just think of us as mad scientists sometimes. We just all a little crazy and let it out.
We're all crazy here.
I thought a little bit of my crazy out. Sorry, guys.
But what did you have to say, Brayden?
And I'm sure we can all agree that if somebody like Michael Saylor pulled up to this, I don't know, live call, he would school us all in the art of money. But, for example, I could fly a plane better than him. Cyril could probably talk about quantum theory more than he knows. Wild Angel could knit better. Cyril can probably play Helldivers better than him. Or Serenity, sorry. Could probably play Helldivers better than him.
And that's the biggest thing, is find what you're passionate about. Find what you believe in. And make that your passion. You know, drive it home. Find as much as you can about that. And the fact that other people say that, well, this is what you have to pay attention to. No, you don't. You really don't. Be authentic to yourself, to your own beliefs and your own thoughts. You do not have to do anything you don't want to do. So all the power we ever have is the power of choice. So choose wisely, because you're choosing for you.
Yep. And it's key to remember that advancement only occurs when someone decides to dedicate essentially their entire life to a specific niche of science, right? Niche, however you want to pronounce it, to that specific little sliver, right? Because it takes that much prerequisite data in order to build all of that knowledge base you need to then discover the next little piece. And then you need the next person to dedicate their life to get the next little piece. That's the way it works, right? And that's why I've spent 21 years diving into the quantum field theory and just understanding all the prerequisite data, and trying to also do little side splits off into like electromagnetic fields, you know, and things like that, and try to figure how it all works together to get my little next piece, right, that I can then contribute.
Well said. And so, guys, we are about out of time. Believe it or not, time has flown by. We went down the rabbit holes as always. And I want to say thank you to words. Here we go again. Thank you for everybody who's joining us tonight on the live stream, or if you're watching on the rerun, because I'm seeing more and more people watching this after we're done streaming. So thank you so much. As always, all I ask is like, subscribe to the channel, go out, check out Project Depression and Karma Farm Sanctuary. They're our sponsors here in heart and soul. And so we support them every way we can. So, guys, I'm going to let you say your farewells and close it off for the night. Take it away.
Does anybody want a sneak peek at Henry?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So he's not even close to done, but here is a sneak peek. Let me change the light a little bit. So it's not, because Henry's a hairy pig, but he kind of is piggish.
Nice.
How's his little snoot?
Is working on it. His little nose. I'm really starting to hate this pig.
Well, don't let
Oh.
him hear that.
Huh?
Well, don't let him hear you say that.
Well, no, this pig.
Oh,
Oh, not Henry the big pig. Henry the munchkin pig and I are going rounds. This is like the 4th time I recreated his body. Trying to get it right. So, and its head's getting recreated. So, because his head's too small. But there's a sneak peek at Henry. So hopefully in another week, maybe next Friday, I'll be able to show you guys the majority of Henry.
the completed one.
So yeah, I'd love to have a completed one. So anyway, thanks to everybody for coming tonight. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for sharing your brains. So have a great week, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we get a quiet. All of a sudden, we get quiet when we say
I
goodnight.
thought,
So
I thought we were all going down the
Yeah.
line.
We don't
Oh,
wanna,
yeah,
we
go
don't
for
wanna
it.
leave. Wait. I will say, just like how I'm obsessed with trying to achieve eternal life, I know someone else that we all use his theories for. Newton was also trying to achieve the same thing. So hopefully someone can do it, please. I don't want to die. I'd like to continue subscribing to knowledge for the rest of my eternal life. So, I think Newton and Einstein had the exact same, I suppose, regret they did. Like, damn it, why didn't I make it? So, maybe they achieving more knowledge in the next life. So, yeah, that would be my way of ending off.
Well, I'll use my ending since I didn't before, just to tell you, Alpha Crews, that they've already been able to dial it back 40%, right? Which, as you get older, 100's going to wind up being the new, 60? So, and at that point, at the rate medical science is advancing, they'll have been able to create a better version and dial it back more, right? Until they're able to stop the telomeres in your cells from breaking down, and then you're good.
Big bada boom.
That would be awesome.
does that mean I
Just
get
gotta
here
live long
again?
enough for it.
No, it's already been stated that anybody who, as long as we don't blow ourselves up, anybody who is younger than, I believe it was 50 today, will be able to essentially choose whether or not they live or die. So,
I'm toast.
Yep.
I guess it's me next. Alright, everyone,
Oh.
have a good night. I'll see you next Freaky Friday. It was a good one.
Good night.
How about you, Braden?
I have a joke. I told it to Cyril in March, and I just thought this would be a good time. So, knock knock.
Who's there?
Insomnia.
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 Ooh.
You have all night to figure that one out.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight. It's been an absolute blast. Stay safe out there, and we'll catch you next Friday for another crazy Friday night of we don't know where the hell we're going to go, but we're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure to tune in.
yeah.
Night, everyone.
Great night.
Bye.